I'd like to talk about the VoSwitch today that I've wired up in the ZJ, and specifically how I use it to control the winch. If you read the VoSwitch instructions, they specifically say do not use this to control your winch. And I think there's three reasons why they do that. First is liability. They're not a winch manufacturer. They probably don't have the insurance for a runaway winch situation that could possibly kill someone, injure someone, or break things. And they just don't want to deal with that. That, I think, is the main reason. Also, there is a bit of a delay when you do the buttons on these. It's not much, and I don't think it's any more than what you find on the wireless winch remotes that come with mini winches anyway. So that's really not that big a deal. And the third reason is that there's just more components involved, and the more components you have in a system, the higher the likelihood is of failure. And these pendant controllers for winches, they're just a very, very basic toggle switch, so there's not much there to go wrong. And I've just added a bunch of complexity to the system. But I think it still is reliable and safe, and I'm going to show you how I did this to make sure I was still safe anyways. So the power for the winch comes through this cable here, and it runs to the relays behind this cover, which means the battery power is available right here underneath this thin plastic cover. If I was to get in a wreck or hit a tree, or a tree falls on it, hit a deer, there's a high probability that that cable or the buswork behind this box will short out to something else metal, resulting in a disaster. There's a lot of current potential behind this fat wire. This wire will carry a lot of current before it melts, and I have dual batteries in parallel, so they'll put out a lot of power before something finally burns up. I don't want this to be powered up unless I am winching, and only when I'm winching. So this is the 500 amp relay that is fed from the battery. You go from the battery to the relay, and when the relay is turned on, it provides power out over to the winch itself. So the winch is only powered up when it is actually running. This is the toggle switch that I put in to control the 500 amp solenoid relay. So up is on. Now I have power out to the winch. Flip it off, and it kills all power going out to the winch, which means if the winch is in a runaway situation, I can kill it for sure, whether it's by the pendant controls or by the VoSwitch controls. Since our last filming, we've cleaned and painted the Jeep, it rained, and I got a haircut. But now I'm going to show you how I would use the winch with the pendant and also with the VoSwitch, and you'll see how they are similar and how they're a little different. To run the winch with the VoSwitch, first we just flip on our toggle switch, and then up at the VoSwitch we turn it on, and then winch out and winch in. And we just turn it off and turn off our toggle. To run the winch with the pendant, we still have to turn on our toggle switch here as before, and then we're going to go out and plug in our pendant. So we've already turned on our toggle switch for the 500 amp relay in there, and now we just run it as normal. We unplug the cover, plug in our pendant, and run the toggle switch, just as we would before. As before, when we're done running the winch, even if we ran it from the pendant, we want to make sure to kill our relay. That kills power out to the winch, so we're safe. Today's video was filmed by Miss Macy.
Hi!
If you think she did a good job, why don't you buy her a coffee? Link is in the description below. I'm going broke buying coffee for this kid. Help me out.
Thank you, everyone.